Welcome to Momentum Monday. Howard.
Don't get so excited. People get nervous about you.
Excited about the gap.
Where are you today? Different room?
I'm in San Diego.
I'm in my hotel room in New York at the James. Heading out for meetings for that. I figure we get this done early. Reception seems pretty good. We've got a massive morning rally. Rarely happens a gap up of 1.5% on the S&P. So let's get right to the charts and go through. I got a ton of ideas, but let's go through your analysis here.
Okay.
What do we got? A breakaway gap and Visa. Let's pull that up. I'm long Visa.
It's a gap in everything.
I like it. I almost given up on these MasterCard Visas in my 8 to 80 portfolio, but it looks like all is clear again for now.
Yeah, it's
I'll tell you what we got from the S&P. If we go back to the S&P, we got some good areas of where you got to get really nervous, and closes below 260 at this point.
I mean, there are two catalysts in favor of the bulls right now. One is a deal between the U.S. and China, a new trade deal.
Well, I kicked the can down the road, but keep going.
Which looks like it might happen or it might not. I mean, so far the market is reacting favorably. And the other one is the Federal Reserve becoming more neutral and stopping the process of raising interest rates, which is not clear yet. So far, the market is pricing in both of those events. And if they do not happen, there will be another leg lower. So right now, after the last week rally and today's gap, I think it's very normal to see some profit taking, some selling from short sellers as well in that 280 area, which is really important. So it's so let's see how the market will actually react in the next couple of days. I think it's if it manages to go above the high print of the opening print from today, we might see a year-end chasing due to fear of missing out.
Yes, there's a lot of cash, a lot of dry powder. It's one of the reasons is negative as I got, I wasn't going to go short stocks. That's why I don't short stocks. It's just the market. There's so many weapons out there. Even Trump, was pulling a few, right? He's been kind of relying on the economy and the market that he took over. And, he's kind of got his dream, Twitter, Apple, Amazon, Facebook kind of are, not going anywhere, and some industrials, etc., are going somewhere. And he's leaning on the Fed. The Fed basically cut rates without saying so, by saying maybe they're going to slow it down. He got that concession, and he kicked the can down the road on China for now. So kind of buys him some time. Of a problem that kind of he created, even though China is a problem in general, he created this whole tariff mess, and he doesn't understand the unintended consequences. So I think that's the best news for China. This is great news for China, and so I want to see how those stocks close today. But let's get right to some ideas. I think the biggest story is Microsoft and Cisco kind of holding up the Dow this year and doing a great job. Doing a great job. The management has done a great job keeping those companies kind of relevant and growing. Microsoft's been written off for dead, back in 2007, 2008, in the era of Google and Amazon and Facebook and Apple, and Cisco quietly through security acquisitions and networking and video. Basically at all-time highs as well. And I think I put up a chart earlier, Ivan. I don't know if we can pull that up, but I'd love to go through
on the blog. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, if we go to my blog on Saturday before the meeting, it's kind of I've been reading. I read Ryan Dietrich. Oh God, post something that there's some bug on my site. If we go back one, yeah, this one we can start with today, but go back to Saturdays. Can't.
This one?
No, one more. Yeah, the all clear. So a couple of days ago, I was reading as much as I could, right? Because stocks, as much as FANG was doing poorly, there's a lot of stocks kind of doing well. And it sure as you have it, like the advanced decline line has bottomed, a month ago. And so you just got to start looking in new places. And if you look in new places, if you go back up to today's post, you can kind of see it's been tech hasn't died. It's just kind of rotated into ginormous, different companies. And then you have United Healthcare has probably contributed the most to the Dow because of its price. It's 23% up on the year, but it's probably contributed the most to the Dow. And then you have the drug companies, Merck and Pfizer, which I thought the whole point of this presidency was to deal with drug prices, but it seems like the big blue pill and Merck and Pfizer, despite all the competition, despite the rhetoric, Merck's up 43% this year, and Pfizer also holding the Dow up. And you can see Nike, Visa. You can see that there's just a lot of great performing stocks in the Dow. So it's been a market of stocks, Ivan, and it's just been trying to find the right stocks. So I found that was interesting. And I think this fight on opioids may be benefiting the drug companies, because they have a chance to sell into this abyss that opioids management may create. I don't know, but there's a theme going on, and in biotech, Ivan, if we pull up Amgen, all-time high on Friday. So there is a lot going on under the surface. If you pull up the daily, it's not quite an all-time high, but recovered from that October sell-off really well.
And you can see that Amgen, which is considered a defensive stock today, is not really
a growth stock. Yeah, based on their forward earnings, correct.
Up, with the rest of the market. Like more, if you take a look at all the defensive stocks that typically do well during the initial stages of a market correction, the staples, the utilities, all of them are down about 0.5% today. And the main reason is because
Verizon was down.
Yeah, interest rates are dropping. Gapping up.
What was gapping up, Ivan?
Interest rates. Interest rates are rising, and when interest rates rise, high yield securities tend to fall in price.
Interesting. Okay, so let's walk through some leadership. If we're looking for growth, not just
the biggest bullish story this year continues to be enterprise software for me, and many of those stocks have acted better than the average stock, and many of them are back above their 50-day, their 200-day moving average and near all-time highs. MongoDB, they're scheduled to report tomorrow, so it will be interesting to see how
the market reports tomorrow. Been a true. I remember looking at this in the 30s this year here, and then the other one is Okta, which is a security single sign-on, which is just a hot space, and it recovered its October low. It's had a run. It's actually down a little bit today, but what a run off the low.
October. Here is definitely
filled the gap. So it's going to be a bit. This next move is an interesting one in some of these enterprise stocks, and there's some basing ones. Look at Elastic, which is a new IPO, hitting all-time highs today. I think if it holds. Again, this is a software. Again, it hasn't been trading very long. Came public during the worst market of at least this year's worst time period, and right now, if it closed, it'd be an all-time high. And StockTwits uses this as a search software company that allows companies like StockTwits to do a lot of powerful things with its code. And used by thousands of companies. So you've got, and then there's some old leaders in enterprise that have been basing for years. One is out of LA called Cornerstone On Demand, CSOD, that I saw some people on StockTwits starting to talk about. If we look back at a weekly, hasn't had the great, run of late but it's been basing for, 2-3 years, and, relative strength 91. Great growth predicted, not cheap. None of these stocks are cheap, which is the hard part. But they never are. And if it can continue its growth, this could be breaking out. And HR software, workforce training, really key areas, and especially in a tight labor market. So it's one of the great LA enterprise companies. Okay, let's go to the SL50, Ivan.
Yeah, this is the list currently. We have a cybersecurity stock on the top. Crocs is
amazing. I still rarely see him in the wild. What a comeback! I still don't get it, but congrats to the people. I just don't see the catalyst personally. So I've avoided this. Been on the list for a few weeks.
Catalyst is just much better than expected earnings.
Yeah, but it's had a hell of a run. It's not just about this earnings. It's almost tripled. Well, it's actually quadrupled off the bottom. So congrats.
50% earnings surprise, 250% earnings growth.
Yeah, but I don't know who's buying it, so I haven't seen my kids talk about it. Obviously, they're getting into some women's fashion. I don't get it. It smells like condoms. I loved it back in 06, 07, 08. I don't get it. But but the growth looks phenomenal. Okay, back to the list.
Yeah, we have Shopify. It's back above its 50-day moving average.
Let's take a look at Shopify, which I'm long. It's kind of been basing all year. Favorite of short sellers too. I mean, if that next move is through 180, look out. So we're still in kind of no man's land and just really volatile between 170 and 120. But obviously, if you look further back, it's digesting a massive, 5 times gain in 2016, and stocks mark time.
Yeah, it can easily go in a sideways range for another couple of years.
Yeah. All right, but on our list for a reason, obviously relative strength wise, and if you look at their earnings potential of 120%, this stock will never be cheap, but continues to benefit from the e-commerce trend. And the end kind of the other big trend that it's riding is the what do you call it? The influencer marketing model, where everybody can build a store. Okay, back to the list. Anything stand out for you, Ivan? Anything you're trading? You were shorting. You were trading from the short side a little bit. Last week, I think you were just kind of net neutral. And are you going to start looking on the long side now?
You remember last week I told you that I have a bullish bias, and I was getting long last Monday.
You had a good week?
Yeah, I had a really good week. I sold my biotech position today. It was a really good 30% move for me.
I remember you bringing that up. Yeah, good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some some individual biotech stocks. I like this one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's breaking out today. Geez, we talked about it last week. This is poop in a cup.
Yeah, breaking out the new, I think it's new. Let me make sure. Yes.
I should have. This is really strong. Demographics are working for it. Cancer, just has all the buzzwords. early detection of colon cancer, aging demographic. That's got to be number one on my list. If you can put up with the volatility, but this thing's breaking to new highs in a terrible market. The problem is no earnings, obviously, which always makes these biotechs tough. But from my friends in the 50s and 40s that have used their testing model for colon, saving them the whole nightmare of the scope, assuming you trust this type of results, this is a huge beneficiary of a trend of lightweight diagnosis. So it's got to go top of my list here, and I don't think it's crazy to even own a little here on the breakout, just knowing that Exact Science, just knowing that it's going to be volatile. Give yourself a smaller position, a wider berth. The bulls on stock tips are all over Tesla here on this breakout. What do you think, Ivan?
It has a potential to run higher. I mean, personally, it's not the best long setup, but it just depends on your time frame. If you're a swing trader, yes.
Yeah. Looking good. I'm happy for my friends who are long. It's just too much news. If you look at their 2000 earnings, if they hit that number, the stock will be at $500. So I'm watching it. It's just, wouldn't want to be long GM, but if you got to own a car company, although GM's kind of in its base, but I think there's just so much news in Tesla that I don't care.
I mean, this is the Chinese test or a recent IPO.
You like this?
Yeah, I traded it a couple of times. It's been good to me.
Yep.
What else? I mean, this week I'll be paying attention to Chinese stocks and how they react after their gaps today. And so far, I mean, quite a few.
So far, they're selling up. They were looking great.
So most of the software leaders, the Chinese stocks, are not really trading near the highs of their opening print today. And
I thought it would be the opposite. I thought the Chinese. So this may be, but the U.S. stocks are holding well. It's still early morning, but the U.S. stocks are holding really well, and but I just don't know. I don't
know. They're not really holding that well, Howard. I mean, they need to. S&P need to close above 280 or near 280.
Consider where we were a month ago.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. I mean, considering if we go back and check the tone of our shows, the momentum had died. I mean, let's face it. 6 weeks ago, we were doing Momentum Mondays and warning people that it could be bad for a while. And now we've got Microsoft, we've got drug companies, we've got healthcare companies, we've got some biotechs, we've got security software, we've got enterprise back. So the market is really, this is the XLV.
Yeah, the healthcare ETF.
So I think more important, Ivan, is that we went from a market where momentum had rolled over to and it's still rolled over for Chinese, FANG, in certain sectors. But I mean, what a recovery for a different amount of momentum. So, I'm watching this closely. It feels like Tencent at least has bottomed, and it feels like Alibaba, for the time being, has bottomed. But let's see how they behave around these gaps.
Yeah, this area here will be very important for Tencent.
It's not going to be an easy run to all-time highs, even if they've bottomed. I'm just saying, these companies are more mature. These are massive companies. So these are the fangs of China. So I'm more watching them to see how the overall mood in China is. You're keeping an eye more on some Chinese smaller, newer tech companies and IPOs.
For swing trading, yes, but if you want to invest longer term in China, I think
it's important to know what you know about to follow the trading patterns of some newer stocks. That's we followed things. All right, go back to the SL50, Ivan, and see if anything else stands out. Okay, so we talked about Crocs, talked about Twilio's back at all-time highs. Etsy, Goose is fashion / high luxury brand. Xilinx, Ivan's one we talked about that was holding up phenomenally through the correction.
There you go.
And did it take out new highs now that we've rallied? Yeah. So that makes sense. It was the strongest stock through the correction. It makes sense that it's at all-time highs here. Goose as well. People line up in Canada for these jackets and in Soho. This has been a favorite short idea of Citron. It's in his face, kind of doubled. But it's kind of given up its gap to all-time highs today a little bit. How are you liking MarketSmith, Ivan, as a tool? I know they're sponsoring us.
I like it. I use it for some of my screens. Let's say for IPO screens, I have a screen that just searches for companies that went public this year and are meeting some certain relative strength criteria. And I'm just looking for some new leadership there.
So Vanda Pharmaceuticals, wow. So let's go back to a week.
Biotechs are doing better than the rest of the market today.
Pull up that one VNDA though. Wow, give a weekly on this. So like Exas and Amgen, yeah, this is a big breakout. Wow. All right, so what do they do? Nervous system disorder, schizophrenia, insomnia, and depression. Okay, all the buzzwords for people my age. I got it all except schizophrenia, thank God. And depression. But insomnia, that's me. So I'm going to check out this company. And they're on our list, Ivan?
Yeah, they are. Let's see.
And they could go to positive earnings.
This is their fourth week. So yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah, it may be time for a small basket of these with a little bit of money. And what's this Ionis Pharmaceuticals, IONS, on the list?
This is another biotech that has been doing really well, showing relative strengths, building a huge base here.
Huge base?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm breaking out from like a daily base.
Yeah, I talked about it on stock tweets right here around 54. So
yeah. Okay, so into some weakness, these biotechs, if they hold, there was another one on there on the list, Ivan, if we go back quickly, and then we'll get out of here. Beat biotelemetry. So these are now, it's been on the list a while.
Yeah.
Another one, laboratory services. Listen, I mean, you've got it here. You've got Amgen, you've got XLV, which is the healthcare. You've got 5 or 6 biotechs on the SL50. Call your friends that are doctors, do some work, try and get some conviction around where the future is headed here. It only takes kind of one or two great ideas in a good trend to make a difference in your portfolio. But so hopefully that helped. It helped me. Ivan, thank you.
Thank you, Howard.
And hope everybody has a great week. I'm just happy that there's so many people that are unhappy. Oh, the market should crash. Blah blah blah. Fake this, fake that. People need to be great. This is incredible strength. I mean, we were in a real serious rollover position in October, no joke. And for now at least, the markets are have recovered nicely a little bit. All things relative.
Yeah. All right. See you next Monday.